Hi friends, welcome to Digital Tech by Vignesh Balaji. So in this video series, we are going to see use effect. So use effect is also one among the React hooks. So in last video we have seen use state. So that is also one of the hook. And now we are going to see use effect. So basically use effect in functional components, whenever there is a side effects apart from the state and prop change. So what I mean by side effects is that if there is any like ajax call, or if there is any DOM manipulation or timeout functions that you're doing, that will be doing with the use effect. So here we have four types that I have shown over here. So we will slowly go through this each and every type, and we will see that in action. So now you see here, so we have all those four types of use effect written over here. The first one is like the use effect, which will render on each and every renders that is happening, right? So what I'm going to do now is I'm just gonna console log it over here. So I'm just console log re-rendering on every re-render. So you can see this use effect will execute on every re-render of that particular component. To see that in action, what I'm going to comment this code, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add an input, and similar input what we have seen in the last video, right? So similar to that, we are going to add the input type, and we are going to do an onChange function and see how this being re-rendered, right? So whenever you type some value over that, it will actually re-render. So the use effect will execute and the console log will be printed on the screen. So this input is similar like what you'll have created an fname and value type text and onChange function. I think it is you can easily understand this. Yeah, so now we have to define the the state for this and the function corresponding. So fname, and the function name also will be set fname, so that whenever we type input, so there is a re-rendering will happen. So you can see that in console as well. So let us open this. So there is some typo. Let's fix this. Yes. Now let's see again and refresh the page. Yeah. Now let's re-render, and now you see whenever I type some value over here, it actually re-renders. You can see the count is being increased, number of times it's been printed. So this is one of the type, right? So then if you want to see how the state should change on updating some values, right? You can actually like pass an empty array, and so this empty array will describe. So like, so you have seen in the first example it renders on everything. So but if you pass an empty array to an useEffect function, so it will be rendered only on the first time. So whenever the first time the component load, this particular useEffect will execute. So if you now see execute, so to avoid confusion, yeah, see this is rendered on the only for the first time, executed on the initial render, right? So it doesn't execute for each and every render that happens. So now let us pass the fname. So we can control this re-rendering also by passing it as a dependency inside an array. So now whenever let me refresh, and whenever some change happen, this renders. It's not on every render. So yeah, so that's how you will do updating the component, right? And not for every render that is happening. So every rendering is actually costly, so you have to restrict that. And also you can do from props. If props change and if you give it as a dependency, that use effect will execute. So yeah, so that's how, like whatever the change that you have to see, you can pass it as an array dependency to the use effect. And let me comment out this one, and the final one that we are gonna see is this unmounting. So unmounting, the syntax will be similar like this, and you have to pass the dependencies over an array similar that, and you have to return a function. This function will be executed when unmounting happens, right? So for this I have written a code snippet. So I will uncomment these two lines of code, and also I have written and repeat messages component, right? So here you have a use effect, and this has an id that is an set interval, so that execute for every 1 second, and it returns a function clear interval. So whenever the component is being unmounted, that time this return function will execute and the clear interval will be triggered, and there is no interval set. So now let's see this in action. So there is some typo issue, let me clear this out. Yeah, so the bracket has been not properly, commenting has not been properly done. Yeah, so let me fix this and we'll see that in action. Yeah, now let me refresh the page once again. Yeah, now you can see like the logs, like the interval is being triggered and it's been updated. Once I click the, whenever I click the hide button, right, it's been unmounted, so the interval is cleared out and you stop seeing this interval is being printing console log again and again, right? So this is how unmount also will render. So I think, hope guys you had a very good time understanding use effect, and thanks for watching, and please like, share and subscribe. Thanks for your time, you guys.